So one topic that comes up pretty frequently is people will ask me about Ex-JW meetups. Do I know of one in their area? Should I go? I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about it. When I first left the organization, I started a meetup, like on the Meetup app. I don't know if that's even still around. But yeah, I just wanted to see if there were other Ex-JWs in the area. When you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you spend a large quantity of your life with other Jehovah's Witnesses. People don't understand Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not just church on Sundays. Like, you just go to church once a week on Sundays, and not that that's bad, I don't care. But being one of Jehovah's Witnesses encompasses your entire life. It's a very insular community. You don't have a community outside of the organization. Jehovah's Witnesses typically meet 2 to 3 times a week. And then, you have to do the preaching work. You have to go out and service and knock on people's doors, do cart witnessing, phone witnessing, that kind of thing. And that's on Saturdays. So it's like your whole week in between school and work is consumed with being a Jehovah's Witness. And on top of that, Jehovah's Witnesses are told to avoid their classmates and their coworkers. Basically taught to keep anyone who's not a Jehovah's Witness at arm's length. So you spend a huge chunk of your life with other Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the bottom line. So when you leave, there's this big void in your schedule, basically. I'm not saying that there's a void in your heart. It's no love loss. You left. When you leave, you're trying to figure things out, figure out who you are, what you want to do. Like, it can go either way. I mean, some people, they leave a cult and they end up attaching themselves to a new group. They miss that communal feeling. Some people just want to retreat for a while. They've been around groups their whole life. So when I first started the meetup, it was fun. Like, 1 or 2 couples showed up, it was maybe like 1 or 2 people here or there, like a former ministerial servant, some single person here or there. But it was just like a really small group. I think it was like a total of like 5 or 6 people that, everyone kind of filtered in and out. But then we moved and I started another one in the new town that we were in. And that one got really big. That one had like at one point like 15 or 20 people. And it was just like at a local pizza place, like where there was a lot of seating. But yeah, people would come from long distances. Like, it was really cool. But so one of the main issues that I hear from a lot of ex-JWs is, hey, I want to go to an ex-JW meetup, or I'm thinking about it or something, but like, I don't know, like, do you know one in the area? I don't know. I kind of want to go, but I'm just afraid it's going to be one big bitch fest. Like, I hear this all the time. I've heard it dozens of times. I kind of want to go, but I don't want a bunch of ex-JWs just sitting around bitching. So before I get into the rest of the video talking about what it was like being a host and doing SJW meetups, I kind of just want to talk about this whole bitch fest thing. The whole bitch fest concern is funny to me because imagine it's your birthday and you want to meet your friends at your favorite bar. All right, you want to get some drinks with your friends and you have one sober friend, okay, who's like, I want to go to your party, but like, are people going to be drinking? Because I don't want to be around a bunch of like wasted losers. Let's say this was a thing, okay? You would totally respect your friend's sobriety. You would support them considering the location, considering the venue of your birthday. If they just couldn't handle it, you're not going to give them a hard time. That's cool, man. You don't have to. It's totally fine. But also, like, use your brain. Depending on the friend group, it is quite possible that they are a rowdy bunch. You guys are going to get effed up. The group. And so, like, maybe your sober friend doesn't want to be around that kind of energy and behavior. Totally fair. It's also quite possible that that's not the case at all. All right, it's far more likely that you're with a group of people who can hold their alcohol. They're not going to cause a scene. They're going to act like responsible adults. But you're going to a bar. Yeah, it's your birthday. People are going to drink. They want to get their buzz on and have fun. So logic would dictate that if you're the sober friend and you're going to walk in with this sanctimonious chip on your shoulder, maybe you shouldn't go. But I don't know. I just don't want to sit. They're all just going to sit around bitching. If that's the attitude you have, you want to eliminate any and all risk of possible bitching at an ex-JW meetup. Don't go. Or you could use your brain or your powers of discernment and realize that is at least partially the reason why people go. Jehovah's Witnesses have been screwed over. You're talking about people who dedicated their entire lives to the organization, lost their families, possibly they're victims of abuse, lost time, money, family, you name it. And you're over here like, I don't want to hear it. Fuck you, dude. Of course they're going to talk about what they've been through and their experience. That's the whole point of having a meetup. It's like a support group. So like, I don't understand the thought process. That's the whole point. I think what happens with some people, and this is not everybody, but I know that there are some people who have this idea in their head, they're confusing A lot of people who express this, they're confusing the act of self-expression within these Ex-JW meetup groups. They're confusing the act of self-expression with toxicity. You're automatically assuming that the experience is going to be toxic just because people are talking about their experiences. Like, if you're so worried about bitching, it almost sounds like you want to bitch, right? Think about it. If you're completely over it, I'm looking at you. If you just want to move on completely, you don't need Ex-JW support groups. You don't want to talk about it. You just want to move on with your life and just be fully recovered. You're above it all. That's totally fine. But don't shit on it. All right, go to the local kickball club. Take yourself to rock climbing, to ceramics class. Go somewhere else, man. If you want to learn the tools. Really, if you want to learn the tools to overcome trauma and abuse and figure out what you want to do with your life, hire a therapist. Go to therapy. I'm dead serious. I had a buddy years ago who had a serious problem. And I was like, look, man, I care about you. I think you should consider AA. Oh, AA, it's just a bunch of, he just shat on it. And I was just like, fine, dude, don't go to AA. Don't go to AA. Some people go, it gives them direction and hope. It works for them. Meanwhile, you're going to sit your drunk ass on the curb. You lost everything, have multiple DUIs. You're going to give other people shit. You're going to judge them. That's rich. Anyway, if you are debating on going to an Ex-JW meetup, as someone who has hosted several meetups, here are my thoughts that might influence your decision. It's therapeutic, not therapy. Like I mentioned before, Jehovah's Witnesses have lived in this bizarre alternate universe for so long, and they were censored for so long that it's very healing, it's very therapeutic to be in a group of people who we all came from the same craziness. We all get each other. And I had some... when I was hosting them, I had maybe one or two people, they showed up and they were like, you know what, this is just what I need. This is just what I needed. I'm good. And like, that's it. You don't see them again, which is totally fine. And some become regulars and you see them at every meetup. It's a pit stop, for a lot of Ex-JWs. They're not going to the congregation week in and week out anymore. It's kind of like that transition period. Until they can meet new people and build up their friend group, it's kind of nice to have people around you that get you. And then eventually, you've built up a new friend group that has absolutely nothing to do with that. So that's totally fine too. I know some others who they had built up an entirely different life for themselves, completely no ties. They've been out for like 20, 30 years, but they came to the meetup just because it was entertaining. They just wanted to have a good laugh. But in defense of the bitchfest argument, it is important to remember that these meetups are very therapeutic, sure, but it's not therapy. Okay, so don't monopolize the conversation. Don't start drama. And I will say, I'm warning you now, if you are legit in the thick of a mental or emotional crisis, going to a meetup is not the place to be. And which I know sounds weird because this is a meetup. I can go to other Ex-JWs, but we're not therapists. I had a subscriber, this was years ago. She emailed me. She sent me a really long email and she was clearly in distress, but I actually tried to gently nudge her towards speaking to a therapist or finding professional help. I even offered to help her find a therapist in her area because she was not local. Instead, she just flipped out. She got super offended. She's like, I told you my whole life story. I trusted you. I didn't ask for your life story. You're a stranger and I cannot give you what you need. So anyway, people are hurting. People are hurting from the cult. They need compassion. I recognize people need compassion. And you can just do that in general. Just be kind to people because, we've been through the ringer. But you also need to gauge boundaries. Be able to read a room and understand that ultimately the meetup is not the place to trauma dump. Adjust your expectations. All right, so we're not in a cult anymore, right? The person sitting across the table from you may have voted differently than you. Maybe that the other person is atheist now, and you're still a believer and you find that offensive. Whatever the thing is, if you're hungry for a fight, all right, you need to know which side people are on. Dude, stay home. I just want to have a burger and a beer and everybody chill out. Let's just all hang out and coexist and treat each other with dignity and respect. If you can do that, you're going to be fine. And sometimes people do make friends, which is really cool. And sometimes you don't. Some friendships that you make end up naturally tapering off. That's you don't have to come from a cult. That's just a fact of life. Just some friendships that you make in life, they're not going to stick around forever. Some friendships, even though you get along and it's cool, it doesn't really take root. So, just adjust your expectations. That's what I would say. Adjust your expectations and don't be so hard on each other. You know, we all left the same thing. We're all trying to figure our lives out. So, you know, the whole point of it like naturally tapering off. Maybe people that you made as friends, they end up going in a different direction in a year or living in a way that you don't approve of or whatever. No one's responsible for your happiness. So just like temper your expectations. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So, you know, if you're easily offended or it's just not your place. It's just not the thing for you. Go find the thing that is going to make you happy. It's that simple. There's always that one guy. There's one in every group. It could be a man or a woman. It tends to be a dude, in my experience, all right, who doesn't play well with others and just, you know, turns out to be really toxic. Who's just hungry for a fight. And you, as the host, you're like, look, man, you gotta go. And something funny happens. They like to pull the shunning card. Like they like to gaslight the host. Oh, okay. Who's shunning who? Who's shunning who? No, I'm not shunning you over ideological differences. I'm shunning you because you're an asshole. All right, dude, don't make me get the sock.
I don't think so. Oh, we don't play that.
But yeah, overall, they're really fun. People would filter in and out. A core base may stay, but you'll meet different people along the way if you end up hosting. Sometimes you get like a mix of faiths. I had one chick who was from Baha'i faith. That was pretty interesting. Whatever the deal is, there might be similarities or parallels that's similar to the witnesses. Yeah, I had some people who were never witnesses show up to the Ex-JW meetup, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, if you want to host one, like I said, I don't know if the meetup app is still available. I think it should be. And you just check off certain categories or filters so people can find you, and like just call the manager and let them know that you want to do a meetup. If they can't like reserve a room or corner of the restaurant or something, you can just like cobble a few tables together, you know, just be creative. 2 people might show up the first time, 5 or 6 people might show up, but yeah, eventually like it was pretty fun. We ended up having like 15, 20 people. I mean, that's rare. Like that was over like a period of 6 months when people would invite others and they'd show up from all over. And again, it's a pit stop for some people. They'll feel like they got whatever they needed out of it and then you don't see them anymore. Maybe you make friends, maybe you got to kick a fool out. Yeah, I had a blast. Just use common sense. And if it's not your thing, don't go. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget my first live stream is Saturday, May 24th. Click the join button below to get private access to this live stream and future live streams. Guys, stay safe, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.